Look, a man can never be a woman, and a woman can never be a man. J.K. Rowling has recently been cancelled again, this time by the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle in Washington. Why? Because they accused her of holding super hateful and divisive opinions. But what has she actually said? She stood up in support of Maya Forstater, who was forced out of a job for believing that biological sex is real. She took umbrage to the term people who menstruate, which I take umbrage to as well. She said, people who menstruate, I'm sure there used to be a word for these people. Somebody help me out. Womben, wimpumd, woomud. She's right. Only women menstruate, for goodness sake. I mean, what's wrong with using the word woman? How is this transphobic? She's telling the truth. And she's had to deal with ungrateful, averagely talented young actors who she made stars turning against her, like Rupert Grint, who played Ron Weasley, Weasel by name, Weasel by nature. He insists trans women are women and trans men are men. Emma Watson, who played Hermione Granger, she donated to the trans lobby charity Mermaids and encouraged followers to do exactly the same. And Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter, claiming that young people had been hurt by J.K. Rowling's comments. Daniel, how do you think that J.K. feels, or don't her feelings matter? And don't you think that young people will feel a whole lot more hurt going through with this experimental gender reassignment surgery and all the drugs involved? Maybe detransitioner Chloe Cole could help you out.
After my breasts were taken away from me, the tissue was incinerated. Before I was able to legally drive, I had a huge part of my future womanhood taken from me. I will never be able to breastfeed. I struggle to look at myself in the mirror at times. I still struggle to this day with sexual dysfunction. And I have massive scars across my chest. And the skin grafts that they took of my nipples are weeping fluid today. And they were grafted into a more masculine positioning, they said.
You see, that's Chloe Cole. She's talking to the Senate committee. Look her up online, Daniel. A man can never be a woman, and a woman can never be a man. I'll be honest, sometimes I get bored having to continuously point this out, and I know that you are too, but if I don't bang on about it and draw attention, then this gradual creep of trans ideology, which always seems to result in women losing out, will continue. But there now seems to be a push on young girls to transition, as brands like Costa Coffee are jumping on board this ideology with their ridiculous cartoon rainbow teenager mural, proudly showing mastectomy scars, in my view, glamorising the notion that it's fine for a young girl to mutilate her body and remove perfectly healthy breast tissue to pursue an impossible goal. And Dr. Martens have gone the same way with their limited edition boot, again portraying a similar image. Yet anybody who dares point out this reality is castigated. I mean, what has J.K. Rowling actually said that is transphobic? The answer is nothing. Instead of twisting the minds of the young during puberty, or even younger, age 7, I read yesterday, and inserting the suggestion that they can actually change sex, which we all know, even if deep down, that this can never happen, we should be teaching young people body acceptance. Women are the only ones of the human species that can give birth. Phasing out the reality of a woman is not a good plan, for goodness sake, for humanity's sake, for goodness sake, and frankly, for the sake of women, of which I am one. I will continue to draw attention to this nonsense. The difference is really quite simple, and I am by no means the first one to say this, but if you leave 100 women with 10 biological men on a deserted island, after 100 years you'll probably have a thriving population. But if you leave 100 trans women on a deserted island with 10 men, in 100 years, you'll find the bones of 110 men. Now, I hear the argument that, what if all the 100 women are infertile? Well, then, in 100 years, you'll find the bones of 100 women and 10 men. You see, it's a fact. A man can never be a woman, and a woman can never be a man. That's not transphobic. It's the truth.